Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are South.
It's another beautiful baseball day on Chicago's north side. A packed house once again at Wrigley Field at the corner of Clark and Addison. The great statue of Hall of Famer Ron Santo greeted us today on a perfect afternoon for baseball. It's the Braves and the Cubs, game 2 of our series. Cubs won game 1 last night, 7-1. Atlanta tries to get even on a sparkling Friday afternoon. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome to the ballpark. 7-1 the final. The Braves offense still in dry dock on this road trip. Hopefully, once again, that will change for Shelby Miller. For today's starting pitching matchup, Joe, can be summed up in 2 words: run support.
Yeah, opposite ends of the spectrum for both of these guys. For Shelby, of course, we know about his struggles. Take a look. 16 starts, 0-8. 15 total runs of support for Shelby. On the other side of the spectrum, Kyle Hendricks. His last 5 starts alone, he's received 20 runs of support, and even though he's got a 6 ERA over that stretch, he's 2-1. So today, we just keep saying, hopefully Shelby won't change a thing. He'll just go out there and compete like he always does, and somehow, some way, maybe the Braves offense will get into gear, especially early in the ball game, and get him a lead early.
Wind is blowing out yet again. Hopefully that will help the Braves offense in game 2. Perfect afternoon for baseball. A perfect day for Shelby Miller to win his first game in 17 starts. We'll see if he can do it next from the corner of Clark and Addison at Wrigley Field in Chicago.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented
2 of the series. Welcome back to the big dig that is Wrigley Field. This place under constant construction as they try to modernize this 100-year-old baseball facility. It looks great on a windy Friday afternoon in Chicago. Here's the Braves batting order presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Markakis, Maybin, and Freeman first, second, and third in the order. Freddie had 2 hits here last night. A.J. Przinsky, Jace Peterson, Pedro Siriaco gets a rare start. He'll be the third baseman with Simmons, Bourne, and Shelby Miller working against Cubs right-hander Kyle Hendricks.
He's 25 years old, 6'3", 190. Went to Dartmouth, drafted by the Rangers, traded to the Cubs. Against the National League East, awesome numbers in 7 starts. He was their minor league pitcher of the year last year. He went 10-5, a 3.59 ERA. Outstanding year for him. He's a high 80s, maybe 90-mile-an-hour pitcher. He's kind of a throwback to the Greg Maddux style. I mean, he's backing up his fastball. He's got an outstanding changeup and a cutter. He beat the Braves. Well, actually, he did not. He got a no decision against the Braves on July 17th in Atlanta. 5 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, but he threw 100 pitches in those 5 2/3 innings.
The Braves would like a similar workload from Hendricks today as Nick Markakis leads off and jumps on the first and hits a base hit to left.
There you go. Braves are going to score 10 today.
I like it. I don't think Shelby Miller's ever lost with 10. He seldom loses with 2.
He would faint. He may not get through 5 innings. He would faint.
Good start for the Braves and Cameron Maybin, who's going to hit second. He's been on base 12 out of 13. Perfect day, wind blowing out. Hit it high and watch it fly, boys. It's cap giveaway day for the bleacher creatures today. Pink, blue, and neon, I guess yellow or green caps given away to the fans sitting in the bleachers.
They look like pins on a map.
Hendricks a strike. Maybe at 278, 10 homers, 52 knocked in. Check him out.
Those are bright.
Another hit, this one by Maybin. Markakis around second. He's on his way to third, and the Braves have him at the corners. 2 hits on 3 first-inning pitches. Here we go.
Well, we showed you that high ERA for Hendricks in his last few starts. His last start against the White Sox, somehow he avoided a loss. 3 1/3 innings, 8 hits and 5 runs, and threw 86 pitches in those 3 1/3 innings. He went back and looked at some video from last year when he was pitching so successfully at AA, and noticed that his arm, when he took it back, was going too far back behind his body. He's trying to just do straight back and straight over the top, and hopefully that will help him today, but not yet.
Freddie Freeman rolls 1 foul. He's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature today.
Good numbers at Wrigley Field over his last 8. And a lot of damage against the Central.
This is the spot where the Braves have really had trouble on the road. They are 4 for the last 29 with runners in scoring position. Maybin got a great jump, and he'll belly flop into second base. He steals second easily, and the Braves have 2 on in scoring position and nobody out.
Outstanding. Be aggressive. Don't sit back and wait for something to happen. Make it happen. Great chance to get on the board first.
20 steals for Cameron Maybin. Shift on for Freddie. The pitch is off the plate. 2 balls and a strike.
You're right about that runners in scoring position number, though, Chip. That was an automatic. Early in the year, the Braves were doing such a great job of manufacturing runs. It's been hard to come by lately.
Freeman pokes one toward Rizzo. He's coming home, front of the plate. Late! Markakis beat the tag. Montero had to reach and then had to swipe, and Markakis got in on the backside of the plate, and the Braves have scored a first-inning run.
That was an extremely difficult read by Nick to make sure the ball hit on the ground first on that short hop and then take off, and he got his foot in there just ahead of the tag. As a result, MAYBIN couldn't run until he was sure Nick was going to go, and by that time it was too late for him to advance.
That's the first inning run the Braves have scored for Shelby Miller since June 13th. And it's 1-0 with nobody out. A.J. Przinsky, the batter. And he was greeted just the way he likes it, with a cascade of boos. With an S.
Yes.
First and second for the Braves catcher with 38 RBIs. And that's cued out a play foul. 1-1 the count.
Funny swing. Saw it but didn't want to swing at it, but he'd already started.
MAYBIN singled and stole second. Freeman reached on the fielder's choice and picked up his 46th RBI. Now a 1-2 count. Straight back.
This guy can actually throw his changeup, which is his second best pitch. He can throw it and make it cut. And I asked that question. I said, how does he do that? And he said, well, he came up with a description of, keep in mind he's from Dartmouth. He said, I have delayed pronation.
I don't know what that means. Foul away.
You know, in that circle change, how you kind of roll over the top of it. He delays that and tries to extend out and be straight on the release point of that circle change. So he has delayed pronation.
He is from Dartmouth. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And no one outside. It's 2-2. Big crowd quiet as the Braves have struck for an early run and have a chance for a big inning. Montero blocked that. Full count.
Stop. That was a change up.
We saw Jake Arrieta throw 3 or 4 of those in the dirt last night. Well, you'd love it if AJ could reach and load the bases. That's because Jace Peterson's on deck. AJ swings and misses. There's the first out of the inning.
This guy doesn't walk many people. He's got confidence in that change up to throw it in any count. He's only walked 30 in 131 innings. That's kind of Maddox-like.
Believe it or not, one of Hendricks' nicknames for the Cubs is the Professor.
I believe that. They talk about his intellect as it applies to pitching too.
Balls at a strike. He was originally a Texas Ranger. The Cubs traded Ryan Dempster at the deadline in 2012. Hendricks was part of the package that came to Chicago. That's outside, says Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire tonight. Adrian's called a couple of no-hitters behind the plate. One for Homer Bailey, one for Edwin Jackson. It's already by the boards for Hendricks, who's allowed 2 first-inning hits today. Pitch. The knees. 1-2.
Chase got caught looking for that change-up.
And he's down on strikes. So Hendricks doing his best magician's act after a run is in and 2 on, nobody out. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts has him an out away from getting out of a big jam. First pitch to Pedro Siriaco grazed the outside corner. He has a look back at the umpire. Ball's at a strike. Don't need another day with confrontation with the home plate umpire. Enough of Doug Eddings last night. Pitch. Ball in the dirt. Another stop by Montero. Even count.
Two great stops that have required the Braves to get a hit to get that second run in. Otherwise, a ground ball might have done it.
I can't think of an area in front of home plate that is softer than the one we've seen at Wrigley Field.
No.
Can you?
No.
The surface is cratered. Pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Montero's already blocked 3 balls in the dirt in the first inning and knocked that one down. 2-2. Hendricks taking a page out of Arrieta's playbook last night. Arrieta did not allow a flyout in the game for the Cubs. Everyone was on the ground or in the catcher's glove as he worked 6 innings. Rolled to the left side. Bryant's got it. A toss across in time, and that'll retire the side. Good start for the Braves. They pick up a first inning run for Shelby Miller. 1-0, bottom of the first. Two first inning hits. Now Hendricks gave that up in the opening inning. Now Shelby Miller with a rare lead goes to work.
His last 16 starts covering 98 innings pitched. He's pitched with a lead 16 1/3 innings. And he goes to his first inning today with a lead. What a rarity. 4 keys to pitching success today. Soler flares. Well, actually, Jorge Soler. He's the only guy in the lineup that's really given him any trouble. Soler against him 3 for 7 with 2 homers. Everybody else in the lineup hitting .154. And the other part of that, American Legion week, that's in keeping with Joe Madden's week for the Cubs. Thought he might have to throw a shutout and hit a home run. Well, he's already got a run to work with.
Dexter Fowler in the box, and quickly Miller ahead. 0-2 the count. Shelby's 1-1 lifetime against the Cubs. He's got a 4.22 ERA here at Wrigley Field. And 3 pitches subdues the Cubs leadoff man. There's a good start for Miller. 1 up One down. Here's a look at the rest of the hot hitting Cubs lineup. They've scored 7 runs or better in each of their last 4 games. That's brought to you by Academy Sports. Kyle Schwarber's the latest young sensation for them in left. Coghlan hitting 3rd. Rizzo, Bryant, Montero, Soler, the man Joe mentioned, hitting 7th. Hendricks, the pitcher, 8th, and Addison Russell, who homered here last night, is their shortstop and bats 9th. So your first look at Schwarber in person, your initial impressions of the Cubs left fielder.
Stocky, but strong. He's got real nice setup, good hands in his swing. What I saw last night, he didn't get a hit. Went 0 for 3 with a walk. But he's like a lot of the Cubs hitters. He kind of lets the ball travel a lot and then reacts to it.
The high at 93 works. 1 ball, 1 strike. Something else I hope we see out of Shelby today is economy.
Yeah.
Can't have 24, 25 pitch innings as he's had the last couple of times out. We all know the state of the Braves bullpen on the road trip. This is one of those games where you really hope Shelby can take it 7 or beyond today. And he struck out the first 2 Cubs hitters.
Upstairs at 95. Schwarber's got a lot of moving parts in his swing. Kind of winds up, and when you wind up and you're behind in the count, you've got to try to defend that. It's hard to do.
I saw a ton of 95-mile-an-hour plus fastballs from Mike Foltynewicz last night. They're getting a handful of them in the early moments in game 2 today. Here's Coghlan, hottest Cub hitter. That's out of play, foul. Coughlin's got 7 hits in his last 15 at bats, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, and he scored 7 runs in that stretch. Think he likes hitting 3rd?
I think he's prospering there.
That's the big lineup change for Chicago. They want Schwarber's bat in the lineup. They placed Coghlan at 2nd, Schwarber in left, and Castro, Starlin Castro, benched.
Is he on the verge of a 9-pitch inning, 3 strikeouts? No.
This will be number 10. In the air to left. Bourn back, still going back, up to the ivy. That ball's in the basket on an 0-2 pitch. Chris Coghlan ties the game. Hit it high and watch it fly. The wind's blowing out. Coghlan the grand tour, and we're tied at 1.
Well, he thought he hit it over the bleachers, I think. High fastball away. He went with it. He just put his head down and went into his trot, and it landed in the basket. But an 0-2 pitch comes back to haunt Shelby.
So he's got to start over in the game. Tied up at 1. Here's Rizzo. Cubs first baseman on the cusp of an MVP season, some feel, in this town. Sixth in the league in homers, 7th in RBIs at a .291 average. This one's popped up. Hamilton Simmons backpedals, and he puts the squeeze on that. Chris Coghlan homers to left. The Cubs off the deck to tie it up. We head to the 2nd. check out today's Never Stop Improving feature brought to you by Lowe's.
Andrelton Simmons' last 10 games have been outstanding. High on base percentage, as important as anything else. Previous 20 games nowhere near the numbers he's put up, especially on this road trip where he is now 4 for 16, had 2 of those hits last night, but just hitting the ball on the nose.
Not Simmons' first rodeo. He saw that throw down his second skip at the second base bag, and Andrelton asked for a new baseball to be put in play as he steps in against Kyle Hendricks. Three homers, 32 for the Braves shortstop, hitting .259. And a line drive into center.
I'd say the Braves think that Hendricks likes to get ahead early with that first pitch strike. More solid hitting from Andrelton. Another high pitch too. He's been doing a real good job of getting on top of that pitch.
So to your point here, maybe a change in strategy offered by Miguel Montero. He meets with Hendricks on the mound. Michael Bourn, the batter, 0 for 3 last night. And 4 for 35 with the Braves. He took a strike. It's 0-1. Low and outside. Joe Maddon said something in the papers today that I thought was interesting. It might come into play later on this afternoon. For many reasons, the Cubs have to play 3 o'clock games at times on Fridays and Saturdays here in Chicago. Their network broadcast considerations on the Saturday days by charter, the Cubs, who operate the ballpark in the Wrigleyville neighborhood, are not allowed to have Friday night games unless it's the playoffs. And Joe Maddon feels that these 3 o'clock start times are really odd. It messes up the rhythm of not only his team but the opposing club too. Players are used to playing either at 7 o'clock or 1 o'clock. This is a 3 o'clock start. And he'd like to see those 3 o'clock starts go bye-bye.
They're very odd times. Didn't affect the crowd. Never does. They always show up here for a ball game. They buy tickets to come to Wrigley to watch baseball.
Yep. But what might affect the game is that shadow you see starting to creep. Fourth, fifth inning, it might be real tough on the hitters. So that's why an early lead is doubly important on a day like today, starting at 3 o'clock local time. Bourn didn't get the change. And there's the third strikeout for Hendricks. 1 on and 1 man out. Cubs a very young club that shows defensively. They've made a lot of errors, more infield errors than any other team but the Pirates in the National League. Rizzo, Coghlan, Russell, and Bryant around the horn. Montero's their catcher. Schwarber, Fowler, and Soler left to right in the outfield. Miller showed bunt, took a ball. 1 ball, no strikes.
Shelby's done a good job in this spot this year. 7 sacrifices.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss. Montero. Is that ruled a foul ball? Yeah, I believe so. That's why Montero had some trouble. No initial call from the home plate umpire. Yep.
If he dropped it on purpose, it was a good drop because Andrelton was going to make it easy. He didn't. It just popped out. I like it though. Took the bunt off and tried to hit and run.
now we're ready to go. 2 balls and a strike. He got it down. It's back to the mound. 1 play. It's to first. 8th sacrifice for Miller. Simmons to second. Top of the order coming up.
Great job.
So a 1-4 sacrifice. Let's see how MARKAKIS does. He singled on the first pitch. And is sitting on 44 runs batted in. Nick's done a nice job in the leadoff spot, hitting over 300 while batting first. And it's a called strike. Leadoff hits for the Braves in each of the first 2 innings. MARKAKIS scored in the opening frame. Trying to bring home Anderson Simmons here. That's in the dirt. Again, Montero and I stop.
One of the things Freddie's done, Gonzalez, with this change in the batting order and having MARKAKIS at the top, is he's put his highest average guys up at the very top of the order, hoping they'll get on and get something going. Starting with MARKAKIS, 297, MAYBIN 278, Freddie 288. And AJ at 292 to start the day today. He's put all of his high average guys in those first 4 spots.
And then Peterson, who's done a good job with the bases loaded and with men on base, in the 5th spot. 3 balls and a strike. Ground ball right side. Coughlin's got it. And a throw to first in time. Leadoff hit for Simmons. He's left stranded, and we head to the second for the Cubs, still tied at 1. Mentioned last night, Cubs fans wanted him to make the club out of spring training. He was arguably their best player this spring. But the Cubs management wisely figured that 7 years of control is better than 6. So they let him stew a bit in the minor leagues. Didn't affect him at AAA because he's come out with guns blazing in those offensive categories this year.
Anytime you've got a kid come up and among all of his peers be first or second in these categories, especially home runs and RBIs, you've got something special. As we said last night, he has struck out a ton, so he's got to cut down on those. But His production's been very impressive.
One ball, no strikes for the Cubs third baseman Kris Bryant. He was hitless last night. Is 0 for 2 against Shelby in his young career. Broken bat. Simmons at short to his left. Unloads a mid-90s fastball to first, and Bryant is out number 1. That was a Wrigley Field ground ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, it died. Unless he broke his bat, wasn't hit very hard. How about that transfer from glove to hand? 47 games without an error for Andrelton Simmons. That's 193 chances now since June 15th.
So Montero bats. He had an RBI last night. Strike 1. Freddie Freeman brought home Nick Markakis with a fielder's choice in the first. Chris Coghlan homered on an 0-2 pitch. Now an easy play at first for Freddie. Montero is the second out. It's only the second homer allowed by Shelby Miller on an 0-2 count in his career, by the way.
No kidding.
It was wind blown and opposite field and into the basket.
Yeah, and only the 9th he's given up all year. 7 to lefties, 2 to right-handers.
Here's Soler. Jorge with a hit last night. He's the man that's hit Shelby the hardest. 2 career homers. Not this time. Peterson to his left. Got a big hop. And an easy inning for Miller. He's pitching very economically. 3 outs on 5 pitches. We'll take more of that. In run support. Overall, these two teams headed in dramatically different directions, and offense the main reason why.
27 hits with runners in scoring position, and a 300 or better average is going to provide you with a lot more runs, no question about it. Outscoring their opponents 63 to 46 are the Cubs, and an opposite number for the Braves. The offense that was for Atlanta the first 2+ months of the season, so effective at taking advantage of opportunities and getting 1 or 2 here, scratching them out, great manufacturing runs. That has kind of dried up.
So they start over, second time through the order. Cameron Maybin, Freddie Freeman, and A.J. Brzezinski are coming up. And a strike. That kid's ready for school. Check him out.
Ready.
You got to go on a limb. Say, you know what? If the Braves win the division this year, you get your hair cut like that kid. The red dye stripe.
I was just going to say, I've already kind of got it cut that way, don't I?
In spots, yes.
The only thing I'd have left to dye is my scalp. People think I had a rash.
3 balls and a strike for Cameron Maybin. Broken bat under the pitcher's glove. Russell got him by a quarter step. They really like Russell. There's an awful lot to like. This kid's learning on the job, and he's been excellent.
Barrel of the bat came flying back to the backstop. Russell didn't have time to stand up. He had to throw it from where he fielded it. Nice play.
Russell's 21 years old. And Freeman spoils this shift with a base hit to left.
I like them apples.
What if Jim Deshaies called that hit gross, like the little number that Freeman hit last night?
I don't think Freddie cares if he calls it gross every time he does it. Curveball. Didn't give up on it. And he'll take that every time.
As we said last night, hitter will say, that's a thing of beauty. Pitchers, ugh. Jim Deshaies was a good one in his day. Here's AJ. Struck out his first time. A changeup got him. AJ's done some good work in this ballpark. 5 career homers, 20 career RBIs, and he loves nothing better than making Cubs fans suffer. Those years with the White Sox, and a little time with the Cardinals too. He would love to give Atlanta its first extra base hit of the series. Backing out of play, 2-2. Braves start play today 53-68. The Cubs at 68-51. They're 8.5 games behind the Cardinals. They're 4 games behind the Pirates for the top wild card spot. And AJ took a breaking ball at the knees, thought it was low, and now he grumbles. Adrian Johnson and Krasinski join. Careful, AJ. It's a hot-tempered crew. 2 out.
Look low from here.
AJ will have a chance to continue the conversation when the Cubs come up after the next out. Jace Peterson struck out his first and only time up. Anthony's on a corner. It's 0-2. A fastball, frozen. 5 strikeouts for Kyle Hendricks. 1-1 game. Each other as we head to the bottom of the third inning.
Well, you know he's going to want Shelby to throw a low fastball at the knees and see if he gets the call.
Like AJ said, all he wanted or needed to as he made his way to the dugout. And now Kyle Hendricks, the pitcher, leads off for Chicago. Joe Maddon likes hitting his pitcher eighth. A couple of purposes for that. Hopefully get bases loaded for his 3 or 4 hitters, but also to protect Addison Russell. The youngster would struggle hitting eighth. And that kind of play is something you'll also see from the Cubs too. As you see the Atlanta defense for game 2 of the series. Pedro Siriaco, the only change, he's at third base. Joe Maddon wants his pitchers to not exert effort at all on the base paths. If it's an easy out, peel off. He doesn't like to see his pitchers sacrifice. He wants his pitchers at optimal energy to do what they do best, and that's throwing the baseball. They don't sacrifice much with them. In fact, their first sacrifice bunt from their starting pitching staff came on June 13th, I believe it was.
Well, you got to remember, he's not been in the National League. He might come around to a different way of thinking at some point. Even to the point where he might wear the uniform instead of a sweatshirt.
I asked him about that in Atlanta. I said, do you think that's a sustainable style of play in the National League? And he believes it will be, especially come playoff time should the Cubs get there. We don't know because the Cubs haven't gotten there, and this is Maddon's first year. But you can't bunt guys over in those situations in the postseason when runs are so difficult to get. That's, I think, it'd be a big problem for them. But we said last night, the thing about Joe Maddon that's also intriguing is he is definitely an outside the box, unconventional thinker.
He's different.
That's inside tight. So Addison Russell.
And they're 17 games over 500, and they got a ton of guys hitting homers, and
yeah,
I guess they don't need that right now.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And Addison Russell walks. First walk for Shelby Miller, and now we go back to the top of the order. Miller struck out Dexter Fowler and Kyle Schwarber to start his day. 1-1 game, third inning. Dexter Fowler's having a terrific year with the Cubs, getting on base a lot. He's third in the league in runs scored and is only 4 away from his career high, which he turned in with the Rockies. That's downstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Fouled that back. It's an even count. Cubs will run. They entered the series with 78 stolen bases, good for 4th in the National League. They've been caught 29 times. Russell, however, doesn't run much. He's only been able to steal 2 bases in 5 tries. Up and out of play. It's now 1-2 for Dexter Fowler.
Fowler 0 for 6 in his career against Shelby. He's one of those guys I talked about, other than Soler, that have struggled against Miller in their career, albeit not too many of them have a lot of at-bats against him.
Strike 3 right down Broadway. Fowler took it. He is struck out for a second time. And that's out number 2.
PNC Bank box traps. There's that pitch that certainly AJ wanted to make sure it was called a strike, and it was.
High heat got Schwarber. He couldn't lay off a chest-high fastball and swung right through it. So he's 0 for 4 in the set. 2 of those 4 outs, strikeouts. Schwarber, the first Cub with 10 or more homers in his first 36 games since 1955. Swing and a miss. One of the benefits for the Cubs of having bad years is picking high in the draft, and Schwarber was one of their draft choices. 4th overall last year. He was late there. Middletown, Ohio.
Bryant was the 2nd overall pick the year before that. Addison Russell, the 11th player overall the year before that by the A's.
Popped up. That's headed over the Cubs dugout and into the seats.
That's that slide step fastball that we saw Jason Grilli use so effectively when he was closing for the Braves. I think some of the Braves pitchers have copied it to some extent. Just a quick step, and when you throw hard, it's on you in a hurry. And if Jason's watching today, we hope he's recovering nicely.
Miss him.
I hope he's able to get around on his scooter. I wonder if he named it.
0-2. Did you copyright the name Jimmy?
No, he can have Jimmy. Jimmy Jr. JJ.
Cubs have lost 87 games or more in each of the last 5 years. They're not going to have that problem this season, barring an epic collapse. It's hammered down by the Braves 400 club. Wayne Coleman and his group are here today. Hope they have their gloves up. Good battle between Shelby Miller and Kyle Schwarber. Strike 3 called, and Miller has his 4th strikeout. He's gotten the top 2 hitters, Fowler and Schwarber, to strike out twice. 1-1 game. Atlanta looking for offense. We move to the 4th.
Off for the Braves in this inning, and had a chance to talk to Freddie Gonzalez about Pedro, who's making his first start since August 12th down in Tampa. In that game, Pedro went 2 for 3 with a home run, 4 RBI, and he is a player Freddie Gonzalez really likes for his versatility. He calls him the ultimate National League utility man, and he talked about in the future trying to keep finding spots for Pedro. He wanted to get him a start today. He said in spring training next year, his plan is to play Pedro every day at every different position, even put him out there in the outfield. That's how valuable he thinks Ciriaco is as a player. Wants to make sure he continues to have a spot somewhere on this team.
And the reason for that, Jen, is because he can swing the bat. He's tough out and knows how to play, plays the game right.
I sure hope Freddie's told Pedro, hey, I'm going to play you every day during spring training. I don't know if that's such a blessing or not.
Yeah, come the middle of February. Well, the only player who hasn't reported to spring training is Pedro Ciriaco for some reason.
Yeah.
No, we've said it before. At least I know I have. That he had made the club out of spring training,
right.
And he had a great spring. And then the Braves made the deal with the Padres, and it cost him a spot.
Slow roller. Bryant charges, bare hand, has it, late throw. The throw gets away, but no advance by Ciriaco wisely. That's an infield hit. And again, every hit for the Braves in this series so far is a single. We'll take it.
Yeah, get that leadoff man on.
Third time in 4 innings that's happened for the Braves today.
Another good pitch too by Hendricks. This time just a topper down the third baseline. That particular play has been going against the Braves enough, so they were due to get one.
Oh, we showed you the hot hitting of Andrelton Simmons last time up. He singled. Let's see if we can do it again here in the 4th. 1-1 game. Freeman fielder's choice. Coghlan homer has accounted for all of the offense.
'58th pitch of the day for Hendricks. 47 of them from the stretch. Started in the first inning with the first pitch base hit by Markakis.
That's headed foul right side. 2 balls and a strike. Clouding up a bit here at the old ballpark. Nothing but bright blue skies at first pitch. Wind still blowing straight out. Cover really helps the hitters. It takes away all those shadows we were worried about at the start of the ball game. Two balls and a strike. Hendricks a long look down at Bo Porter. You mentioned Hendricks from Dartmouth, Brad Auspis, and Mike Remlinger, also 2 alums of that Ivy League school. Remlinger, a former Brave and former Cub. Foul again.
I don't think that Hendricks has thrown a fastball as hard as 90 so far. I think he's hit 89, and that's about the top end for him. It's all about location, changing speeds, kind of old-fashioned compared to all the 95-mile-an-hour sizzlers we are used to seeing.
Slowly hit toward Bryant. He's going to go to second, and in time. Oh! Siriaco thought he beat the rap. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves might take a look at this one on replay review. Freddie notifies the home plate umpire, and he is going to challenge the call at second base. Did Siriaco beat the rap?
Pedro was kind of bouncing off there, got a good jump. Absolutely he did. Absolutely.
So Freddie Gonzalez told Adrian Johnson something. He wanted to be clear on what he was challenging. So the home plate umpire is going to join that umpire scrum by the third base bag just to let them know exactly what Freddie Gonzalez wants to have reviewed and what his challenge would be. As always, on a play like that, will there be enough clear and convincing evidence?
Yes, absolutely there is. Good hustle by Siriaco to get down there. That ball is like what you were talking about earlier, Chip, because it was hit slowly, and I don't know if it hit the dirt in front of home plate first, but if it did, it really killed it getting to Bryant, where his better play would have been to first. Yeah, he's safe. We'll see if New York agrees with us. If so, the Braves will have him first and second with nobody out. Remember, Rizzo came home on the Markakis play. Nick beat the rap there instead of taking the sure out. Luckily for the Cubs, that decision only cost them 1 run. Yeah, the umpire at second base today is Ben May, and I'm not familiar with Ben. I think he's a rookie umpire. Thank you very much.
So Freddie Gonzalez wins the challenge. A fielder's choice has runners first and second, and Michael Bourn will be the hitter. Call is overturned.
Well, they're throwing Michael a lot of off-speed stuff away, and he keeps trying to pull it. Talked about it last night, how he's drifting a little bit over that front foot, taking his hands with him. He's just got to stay back, think more about left center field.
He does hit one the opposite way toward left. Schwarber to the warning track. Got there. And no advance. Strong throw to third. That's out number 1 in the Braves' 4th inning and brings Shelby Miller up. Maybe Shelby can help himself. And Bo Porter will talk about that.
If Shelby if he had a little better numbers, he's 3 for 41 on the year, and a couple of the 3 hits are doubles, so I give him credit there. But with the hard time the Braves are having scoring runs, I think I'd have him bunt here again. Cubs think so. Rizzo's he's backing up a little bit now.
He did that ball perfectly. Great sacrifice. Runners at second and third.
Great job.
I mean, that's picking up that baseball in front of the plate might be like going to get a golf ball in a sand trap.
You're right. You're right. I mean, it could be sitting that deep in a divot.
So Braves have had base runners all over the place today, but they're 1 for 11 so far with men on base. Markakis 1 for 2, scored the lone Braves run. Fly ball, well hit, left center field. Fowler on the run, not going to get it. It's off the base of the ivy. 2 runs are in, and the Braves have taken a 3-1 lead. Markakis does what he does so often, aggressive on the first pitch, and Hendricks pays the price with a 2-run double.
Set up by the bunt by Shelby Miller, and Markakis delivers. Breaking ball first pitch, and he ripped it. Sliced away from Fowler enough to get them both in. Overturned call at second base, huge.
And a strike for Cameron Maybin. 2-hit day for Markakis. He's up to 46 RBIs. Maybin's 1 for 2. See if they can chase Nick home. Around here, Wrigley quiet. And Montero couldn't stop that one. It pops away from him. Markakis to third.
This has certainly come to fruition here this inning. 2 out runners in scoring position, 356 average against Hendricks. Added to by Markakis, and a chance for Maybin to add on to that.
One thing Joe Madden has preached to his club: do simple better for this Cubs ball club. If Bryant throws to first, they get an easy out. Instead, he went to second. Braves got the call, and it leads to 2 runs.
I mean, I understand why he did it, because he was playing well off the line, and when he fielded that, he didn't have a long throw to second base, so you just assume you're going to get an easy out there. It was anything but.
Deuce is wild for Cameron Maybin. Montero smothered that. He is an excellent job behind the plate. Freeman next. Braves have given Shelby Miller his second lead of the game. It was 1-0 in the first. Now it's 3-1 in the Braves' fourth. Markakis' double took care of that. Maybin is passed, and they've got a pitch to Freeman. Thank you very much. First walk for Hendricks today.
Yeah, and again, he was not trying to pitch around Cameron. He got ahead of him in the count and then couldn't make a good enough pitch to get Cameron to offer. He did not want this scenario.
Single and an RBI for Freeman in 2 trips today. Last time Shelby Miller had a 2-run lead. June 8th. It was also a 3-1 advantage.
Hey, you know, that comes around every couple of months. You know, you just got to take advantage of it.
That's it, you know. He's got to get Coughlin out when the Braves go to the field and the Cubs have the inning. He's looking good today. Freddie didn't get it. Strike 1.
You know, we give you those shots in the dugout. We're trying to get a shot of Shelby in the dugout. It's impossible here. There are about 30 people in a 15-person dugout. As I've said before, it's a dog leg right from this angle. Dugout's dog leg right. A lot of people have to stand up on the railing there, like Bubba.
Bubba likes that spot. That's prime hugging territory.
Getting loose over there, fellas.
Swing and a miss by Freeman. And that ends the Atlanta fourth. Big 2-out hit by Nick Markakis. Big decision by Chris Bryant. Braves take advantage for Shelby. Take a look at today's Coors Cold Hard Facts.
And these are cold and they're hard. Shelby Miller, since the All-Star break, 5 total runs of support. Kyle Hendricks, 22 runs. That was at the start of play today. Shelby wouldn't know what to do. He'd be dancing in the streets if he got 22 runs of support over that stretch. He'd also have a whole lot better record.
He's 5-9 with a .243 earned run average. 16 starts between wins. He has the worst pitcher's luck since Jack Neighbors in 1916. And by that I mean with an ERA under 3.5. With a 16-game winless streak. Pretty amazing.
Well, how about this for Shelby? He's had 10 starts where he's allowed 1 earned run or less. 10 starts, 1 earned run or less, and has no wins in those 10 games. As I said to someone earlier, that's impossible.
Little pop. Simmons will glide and make the play. Coughlin's retired, 1 out. And here's Rizzo. Next home run for Rizzo will put him in some select company. There have been only 5 left-handed hitters in the history of the Cubs franchise to hit 25 or more homers in 2 seasons here. Rick Monday's one of them. Oh, Henry Rodriguez, remember him?
Boy, do I ever. He had that one year he hit about 30, 35, didn't he?
Great year with the Cubs in '98. They won the wild card. Of course, pride of Whistler, Alabama. Great Billy Williams, Cub Hall of Famer, on that list too. Strike to Rizzo. Didn't think so. He didn't count. Cubs honor their greats in a very unique way here at Wrigley Field. Really no place to hang retired numbers on the facades of the stadium. This ball's popped up and out of play. So they do the next best thing. Hang the pennants from the foul pole. Ernie Banks, Ron Santo, Fergie Jenkins, I should say, on the left field foul pole. Billy Williams, Ryan Sandberg, and Greg Maddux down the right field line.
Yeah, it's cool they retired number 31 for both of those guys, Fergie and Greg. When you see Rizzo take his stance, one of the things the Braves were talking about last night was that he gets some calls that should be called strike on pitches that almost hit him. He is so over the plate, hanging over the plate, that anything inside he kind of has to jump back away from. It makes it look like a ball. Great sequence there from Shelby,
who has his 5th strikeout, and the first man other than Fowler or Schwarber to swing and miss. You're right about Rizzo, with all the power, all the walks, the high on base percentage, low strikeouts. He's been hit 24 times from that point you just mentioned.
Yeah.
He hangs right over the plate. He's willing to take the punishment.
And everybody was talking about the home run he hit last night. It was just ridiculous how he kept that ball fair. Off an upper 90s fastball too. Watch how he keeps his hands inside the ball, even though it was in on him. It was down enough where he could drop the barrel, but that usually is a hooked flight of the baseball, and it didn't. 3-run shot that pretty much did it.
Mike Fultonevich, the man that started for the Braves last night. Everyone in the locker room, though, was very, very enthused and positive about Mike's effort despite the high run total he gave up.
Yeah. Roger McDowell keeps using the word progress, making progress.
0-2 pitch. A.J. Pierzynski said as much as well. He said Mike ought to be proud of the way he threw the ball tonight. The numbers don't indicate that, but we saw a lot of progress. He's the man that caught him, and Shelby Miller is rolling now.
I'd say that was an enthused Shelby Miller.
You bet. 3 up, 3 down with 6 strikeouts.
Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Big crowd at Wrigley has been quieted by Shelby Miller, who's retired 10 of his last 11 men. A.J. Pierzynski leads off for the Braves in the 5th inning, who enjoy a 3-1 lead. A.J. struck out a couple of times today. Off the plate, even count.
And if he looks at the infield, he ought to see exactly how they're going to pitch him, because they've taken away the shift. They're playing him straight up, and that would indicate to me that Hendricks is going to pitch him away, throw him off speed stuff away, and hope that he hits the ball away. So that ought to be a tip.
Ground ball to second. Coughlin's got it. And AJ's out number 1. Chase Peterson struck out twice. National League East race. 4 games separate the Mets and the Nationals. Washington lost in Colorado yesterday. They head back home at 60-60 for the year. The Nationals will host Milwaukee tonight. And if Washington's going to make the playoffs, it's looking like they're going to have to win the East. They start play 8.5 games behind the Cubs for the second wild card. Gio Gonzalez will pitch for Washington. Mets are in Colorado themselves. Bartolo Colon against John Gray. Rockies' top pitching prospect, and I'm guessing we'll see Gray in Atlanta. That would be the last game of the series, I would think.
Makes sense, yeah.
Gray's making his 4th big league start for the Rockies today. Braves will have Colorado and the Yankees, the first 2 on the homestand. Then the Marlins for 3. That gets us into the early days of September. That gets away from Montero. No harm, no foul. 2-2 count.
And a much needed off day at home in between Colorado and the Yankees.
Changeup got Jace Peterson to swing and miss. He is 0 for 3. 3 strikeouts. He's got the hat trick. 2 down.
They've had him on the proverbial rocking horse today. They've gone soft away and had him reaching for that. They struck him out looking on a fastball in that came back over the inside corner. And then they go back soft away on this at bat.
Infield hit for Siriaco. He hustled to second, beat the throw there. That saved an Atlanta out, and it allowed the inning to continue with Nick Markakis, who promptly doubled off the base of the wall and left center more accurately. Brought home Pedro and Anderson Simmons for the 3-1 Braves lead. Chopper toward third. Bryant foul ground handles. No ball, one strike.
You know, Chip, I was just looking at that real soft sandy area in front of home plate. Not only is it soft out between the lines, look how they bring it back in toward home plate, so that if you top the ball right in front of the plate, that's a real soft, spongy area too.
Well, that's the advantage of your home ballpark. You can manicure your infield any way you want. All those years in the early 80s, the Cubs would grow the grass almost knee high here to help Larry Boa and Ron Cey and Ryan Sandberg catch the ball. Line over second and into center for Siriaco. He's got a couple of hits today. And that keeps the inning line for Simmons.
He can swing it. He had the swinging bunt hit in the 4th inning that led off the inning and got the 2-run inning started, and now he gets on top of one. Tomahawks it.
Just a gentle breeze blowing now for Simmons. Runner goes. Montero from his knees threw that to center field. That was an awful throw by the Cubs catcher. It's a stolen base and an error.
What was he thinking?
His 7th error of the year. Joe Maddon's probably wondering the same thing.
I mean, he got a great jump. If you felt like you didn't have a chance, then don't throw it. And especially don't throw it from your knees like that. Base hit, error, wild pitch, pass ball, balk. Get that run in.
So Kyle Hendricks, normally provided with a ton of run support, doesn't have it today, and he's up to 90 pitches. Welcome to Shelby Miller's world. Braves starter gets the worst run support of any pitcher in the game. He's got a 2-run lead to play with in the middle innings. ball in the dirt. And Montero, that's at least 8, maybe 9 body blocks from Hendricks today.
Yeah, he redeemed himself right there. I mean, he's got a wonder too, and it hits in that soft stuff. Where's it going to go? Look how much sand that throws up when it hits the ground.
I've never seen a softer area in front of the plate in the big leagues ever. Ground ball to second. Coghlan's got it. Throw to first is in time. And that retires the side. We head to the Cubs half of the 5th inning. Still a 3-1 Braves game. Things we wondered about on a day game at Wrigley Field is how the batter's eye would affect left-handed hitters here at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Brian Woodward came out earlier today and stood in the left-handed box. So if you picture a right-handed pitcher standing on the mound and that area that is marked off there and the pitch coming out of the pitcher's hand from that area, it'd be hard to pick up. There's a look from behind home plate, even though this camera is directly behind home plate. And that arm angle from Hendricks, if you move that camera over to the right, you'd be able to see that it's more in line with those fans than it is with the batter's eye, for sure.
Left-hand hitter up for the Cubs now. It's Montero, then Soler, then Hendricks. 6, 7, 8 for the Cubs. Shelby Miller works his way through the lineup a second time this afternoon. There's action beginning in the Cubs bullpen. Last night, Marietta was taken out after 6. Wasn't real happy about it. Cubs are concerned about, not a bad way, but concerned about the number of innings he has pitched this year. As this one's whacked into right field by Montero. The catcher for the Cubs has his second hit of the series. And for Arrieta, they want to save as many pitching bullets as they can for September when the games are extra important.
Yeah, he didn't need to pitch any later than that. And I thought Joe Madden made a good description about how the innings they save now may come back to help them in October, which is where they plan to be.
Jason Mott, the former Cardinal, is up in the bullpen. Soler the hitter. Hendricks due next.
This is the guy, dangerous guy for Shelby.
A strike.
He was the first guy to turn on a good fastball from Fultonevich last night. Fastball guy.
He got one.
Tardy on that one, big time. Only run today came on an 0-2 pitch, a home run by Coghlan. Don't make that mistake again.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Chris Denorfia's on deck. He pitched here the other night. The Tigers were blasting away. Broken bat. I mean, sawed him right off.
Ow. Boy, did that hurt, too. Splinters were flying. You know what, though? That was a Louisville Slugger. That was ash. That didn't snap in half and the barrel go flying like that maple stuff does.
Missed inside. It's a full count. On a walk, Soler with nobody out. He will be the tying run.
I don't think they've thrown him a breaking ball. They got him 0-2, but they keep trying to put him away with a fastball. Maybe because he showed that he was late on that one swing, broke his bat on another. They want to speed his bat up and throw him a slider by throwing him a slider, but they're going to stay with the fastball.
And it missed badly.
Two-seamer got away from him.
So the Cubs in business now. A single and a walk, and Denorfia will pinch hit. So Hendricks is out of the game after 5 innings of 3-run ball. He allowed 7 hits, 7 strikeouts, a wild pitch, and 1 walk. But this is what Joe Madden likes about the way his lineup presents itself. If you get a hit from Denorfia, then you've got 9, 1, and 2 good offensive players coming up with men on base and a chance for a big inning. It's rare in Major League Baseball when you have a position player come on to pitch. It's rarer still when you have 2 players on your team come on and pitch in the same year. Even rarer still when you've had 3 separate games for that to happen. That's the fate of the Cubs. Denorfia pitched a third of an inning. David Ross has pitched 2 scoreless innings in emergency relief for the Cubs bullpen.
I saw one of them. And David was throwing batting practice. It was barely a wind up. He was just kind of throwing it in there, and the hitters were like trying not to laugh, but kept waiting for him to trick them somehow.
No balls, 2 strikes. Ground ball to third. Second for 1. Instead, it's into right field, and a run will score. Soler on his way to third base. Siriaco threw a sinker that Jace Peterson couldn't corral, and a sure double play ball leads to an error and a 1-run game.
That is not something the Braves have had to deal a lot with. That wasn't anywhere close. Never got on top of it.
That's a great angle on that throw. On second thought, that throw might not have been as bad as I initially thought. Take a look in a moment. First pitch. Swing and a miss by Russell.
Leads to the first base side. And at first I didn't think Jace could reach it, but that looked like that went either under or above his glove. I couldn't tell which.
So the first error for Siriaco in over a year.
Jace looked back toward Siriaco or toward the third baseline, like maybe he lost it in the shirts. I don't know, but it didn't look nearly as bad a throw from that high third angle. Horrible break for Shelby Miller, because that was going to be a tailor-made double play.
I'd sure like a strikeout here. Ahead 2 strikes to Addison Russell. And he got it. Tipped and caught. There's the first out. Now a ground ball could end the inning. That's our angle, and it looked like the ball was tailing toward right field.
It looked like he was tailing toward first base where he couldn't reach it. And he was on the run, so it wasn't like he could make a quick adjustment once he got there.
So Miller has his 7th strikeout, and a speedy man to try to double up in Dexter Fowler. Fowler's hit to just 3 double plays. AJ blocked that. 1 ball, no strikes. Hit it. 2 balls, no strikes. Soler at third. Northia at first. Dexter Fowler awaits the pitch. Dan Straley and Luis Valbuena went to Houston for the Cubs. And 29-year-old Dexter Fowler. Three balls and a strike. Bases are loaded for Schwarber. Second walk of the inning. And now Miller with a look in at Adrian Johnson.
PNC Bank pitch tracks. Let's see if that was low. Right at the bottom of the zone. AJ tried to pull it up there, but the pitch that was called a strike and strike 3 on AJ, not called a strike there.
So Kyle Schwarber will bat for the Cubs with the bases loaded for the 4th time in his big league career. He's a catcher. He's also not afraid to swing the bat. Might strike him out, get it on the ground, he might double him up.
Yeah, as we talked about early in the game, he's got a big windup in his swing. And the last at bat was a great sequence from Shelby, who kept offsetting that timing. He pulled a fastball foul, but then got an off-speed pitch, and he was trying to turn on it and took it for a called third strike because he'd taken that high leg kick early.
No place to put him. The Braves bullpen begins to work. Ground ball to first. Freeman to second for one. Return to first. He got the double play and a fist pump two. Look at Shelby Miller. The Braves failed to turn one double play, but got one when it mattered most. Schwarber rolls out. The Braves lead 3-2, and we are off to inning number 6. Up, and that's our Toyota key play of the game.
See Freddie playing back with not holding a runner on, so that was going to be impossible for him to get back to first base in time. Shelby had to get there in a hurry, and he was already camped out at first waiting on the throw from Andrelton to get the out. Shelby really busted it over there to get set up to get that out. I think he was pretty fired up about it, as he should have been.
I think he wanted to spike that baseball like Williams Perez.
Yeah.
Big play. So let's start a rally against Jason Mott. Hard-throwing Cub right-hander who pitched so well for the Cardinals a few years ago. He's a converted catcher. In the offseason, Mott lives in Memphis. It's 2013 and the start of last year after undergoing Tommy John surgery. He's had 42 games in 2012 with St. Louis. He's been supplanted by Trevor Rosenthal. BOURN, Miller, and Markakis. In the air toward Fowler in center, but Dexter's got it. One out.
Shelby Miller coming to the plate is involved with something you folks that play fantasy football I know would enjoy. It's called Big League Impact, and bigleagueimpact.org/Atlanta. With a bunch of guys that are involved already, you would compete against some names you see right there. It benefits the Atlanta Community Food Bank, the Atlanta Braves Foundation, and Big League Impact Global Fund, which provides food and clean water to disadvantaged folks around the world. It's a great cause. It's a lot of fun, of course, to play in the fantasy league football, but that's where the proceeds go. If you'd like to play, and we're running out of time for you to get signed up to bigleagueimpact.org/Atlanta.
No balls, 2 strikes for Shelby Miller. Bases empty, 1 out. And Mott comes it up there in a hurry, but missed. 1-2 your count. Strike 3 at the knees. 2 outs. And Nick MARKAKIS is the hitter.
Nick's got the big hit of the day, that 2-out double. Plated 2 runs in the 4th. Another multi-hit game for him too. How many is that?
You're going to ask me that. I'll find it for you. 40. He's got 10 3-hit games. That's downstairs.
When I ask you these things, I'd like you to be a little quicker.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Answer.
I'm working on it. A little distracted. Back in
Got a
Chicago.
game going on here.
Downstairs. Anything else I can help you with? Dinner reservations? You need a.
Oh, you're already on top of that.
Nice to go after the game.
Thanks. You're learning.
I don't know how my grandfather did it. I really don't. 2 balls and a strike. Night after night after night. Finished off with a banana daiquiri at 2 o'clock in the morning at the Hot Tea Tootsie Club. Dear Lord. 3 balls and a strike. Popped up. And Schwarber in left. He's going to catch that. And Mott has an easy 1-2-3 6th. Coughlin, Rizzo, and Bryant are coming up. Shelby Miller's lead is at 1 run. 3-2 here at Wrigley Field. Of this ballpark's existence, and here's how it's changed over the years. That, of course, 1988 when lights were finally installed, and then you see on the right side of your screen the big dig that's taking place over on the Cubs side of the ballpark. That is going to be a massive, massive undertaking for the Cubs. Training facilities, locker rooms, weight rooms, and the like.
That's a big hole.
Yeah.
That is a big hole right outside the left field stands, and apparently, or as you've told me, across the street, it will extend across the street. They may block the street off too, right?
Yeah, there's a fast food franchise that is located across Clark Street that the Cubs have also bought the property on which that building sits. There's talk of a hotel there, high-rise parking, which is desperately needed in this area too. But it's going to cost $650 million by the time it's all done. That's stage 2 of the renovations that are taking place here.
There's some of the girder work.
And they were pouring concrete, pouring the foundations earlier today, and that is going to be a gigantic edifice outside the ballpark.
Well, for that kind of money, I mean, you could have literally torn the stadium down and built a new one. But you can't do that because it's on the National Historic Landmark list, right?
If you want to paint something, you got to get permission.
Good grief.
Which is.
And it needs painting.
It needs a lot. It needs some air conditioning too up here. But that's stage 3 or maybe stage 4 of the renovation. And look, quite frankly,
they're getting to it. I'll tell you,
they're building a monster here. They really are. A couple of years, they're going to have the opportunity to build their own regional sports network, like Nesson in Boston, like Fenway Park. They've added the signage. They've improved the concourses. The outfield, the bleachers are done. They're starting to win now. Their farm system has produced for them. And when this franchise gets going, and it's going to be sooner rather than later, the Cubs are going to be real tough to deal with in the Central for a long time.
I was looking at their minor league report before the game started. Every one of their teams in the minor leagues, if you add up their first half and second half, every one of them's over 500. So they're all having some success.
That's hammered down the right field line. Will it stay fair? It will not. Rizzo's flirted with the foul pole a time too many in this series for me.
Didn't keep that one fair, unfortunately. Guy has some pop.
And outside. So
what was that the organist just played? Fly Me to the Moon? That was a good one.
Gary's pretty good. Gary Pressey, the organist here at Wrigley Field for a long, long time. He'll even play Boomer sooner if you're nice to him.
He did once.
2 balls and a strike. Shadows creeping out toward the mound now. But it's Miller in front. And the Cubs half of the 6th inning. That's headed for the roof and off to our left. 2-2.
Wind's still blowing. It's blowing out toward left. Feel confident that it certainly helped Coughlin's home run in the first inning.
They've of course had some memorable slugfest games here in Chicago with the wind blowing out. The Sandberg game, Dave Kingman and the Phillies versus the Cubs here. Oh, that just missed. Full count pitch coming up. Miller wanted that one. Was it a strike? Rizzo might be thinking, thank you for the reprieve. Three balls, 2 strikes. Didn't get that one either. Hit the glove twice, got neither call, and Rizzo walks and represents the tying run.
PNC Bank. He tried a backdoor slider that didn't come back in. I don't know that Shelby was as upset with that call as he was upset with the pitch, that he didn't make a better pitch, but he certainly had reason to be upset about the call on the one before.
Yeah, all 3 is what made him mad. Now Bryant bats. He is grounded out and struck out. Lined over third. That's headed for the corner, and that's trouble. Rizzo around second on his way to third. Bourne has to take a bad hop off the wall. Rizzo around third is going to score the tying run. Unbelievable.
I don't know what happened in the corner. That was a fastball, ran right back into Bryant. He turned on it. Got a doorway down there. Did it hit that? Yeah, hit the concrete and then came back short of where Michael was ready to play it. So that wasn't a misplay on his part, just a bad break of where it hit.
That door is the old entrance to the old Cubs clubhouse. And a fortuitous bounce for Chicago ties the game at 3. Bryant at second, for Montero, 1 out. Fly ball well hit right center field. Markakis on the run. Not going to get that. That's up against the ivy. Bryant scores. Montero has doubled and the Cubs lead.
Back-to-back doubles on the first pitch to each guy. Down. Montero able to drop the barrel on that one.
A 2-run sixth for Chicago. The inning started with a 1-out walk. And now Soler bats. Both bullpens busy. Chicago leads 4-3, their first lead of the day. Soler's knocked in 15 runs in his last 23 games. He looks to have one here for the Cubs. And he lines one over short. Simmons lost the glove. And it's a base hit for Soler. Montero, the catcher, doesn't run well. But the Cubs with 1 out are going to play for a big inning. They can go to the bench. Pitcher spot due next. And Jonathan Herrera is going to come on and pinch hit. Now, I wonder if Joe Madden is going to complain about Simmons throwing his glove on this play.
Or the fact that it just came off of his hand as he was reaching for it. That's what caused Montero to freeze, because he was afraid that Anderson might catch it. The glove never came in contact with the ball.
So will be Herrera hitting for Jason Mott. 3 hits on 4 pitches against Shelby Miller in this 6th inning. He's only thrown 82 pitches for the afternoon. Moylan on the left, Detweiler on the right.
We saw in that replay Shelby Miller with his hand and glove, pointing toward the sky after the ball landed out in right center field when Montero hit the double. I'm not sure what that reaction was for. I don't know if he thought the ball should have been caught, but neither outfielder was anywhere near that ball.
It was hit high in the air, and the wind's going to push it away from both MAYBIN and Markakis. They had no chance to make that catch.
Maybe that was it. Maybe he just thought it was a routine fly ball that hit in the ivy.
Herrera stabbed at that ball and was nearly out of the box in contact. 0-1.
He was ready to bunt a fastball and didn't get one.
Ground ball to short. Simmons has it, takes it to the bag, and fires a seed to first. And that's going to end the inning. Cubs doubled up in back-to-back innings, but not before they take the lead with 2 in the 6th. 4-3 after 6 in Chicago. Fans, follow the Braves wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or for your tablet. Joe Simpson, Jen Hildreth, Chip Carey from Chicago. Justin Grimm is the third pitcher to work for the Cubs. He starts the 7th.
We saw him last night. We were talking about all those strikeouts, 52 of them in 35 and a third innings. Mid-90s fastball with a real nasty breaking pitch. He did not record a strikeout in his 2/3 of an inning last night, but gave up a sac fly to Garcia and got Peterson to fly out to left.
Grimm rides into action today with a 12-inning scoreless streak, tied for 6th longest current streak in the National League. Kyle Hendricks struck out 7. Mott struck out 1. That gives them 8. Cubs pitchers have now struck out 8 or more batters in 12 consecutive games. That's the longest streak in the big leagues.
They're well over 1,000 as a staff, among the league leaders.
So 1,049 strikeouts, second to Cleveland overall. Has 1,058. All help appreciated as MAYBIN leads off. He's got a 2-0 count. And he smacks that one toward Fowler in center. Dexter reaches up on the run and robbed MAYBIN of an extra base hit. One craftsman appreciates the artistry of another on that play.
That was a heck of a play. Perfectly timed jump. He did this on BOURN last inning. Playing shallow. Good break. Got a jump and a cheer from Coughlin.
Excellent play. Here's Freeman. Shift is on for the Braves first baseman. Hit one the other way in the 3rd inning and has a hit. That's downstairs, ball 2. Big crowd in Chicago, 39,211. They're averaging almost 36,000 per game. They're over 2.2 million fans paid this year. Freddie hits one high in the air toward right. Soler goes back. He's at the track and hauls it in. And Fowler hauls him in 2. 2 are out.
Soler kept looking at him, kept going for the ball, kind of halfway expecting Dexter to take it and realize he's not close enough. I got to get it.
So Dexter Fowler, a big inning. He's our AT&T Uverse trivia question. He's got 13 homers and 17 steals this year. Named the last Cub of the 2020 year.
Maybe Sammy.
I wonder if it'd be Corey Patterson. He's also an Atlanta kid who played center field here when Don Baylor managed.
Harrison High School.
There's the strike. AJ 0 for 3 today. Seeing a 7th inning stretch guest conductor over in the Cubs TV booth. I wonder if it'll be a video version on the new scoreboard. Hope it's Ozzy.
How about your granddad?
That'd be good too. Ozzy Osbourne was pretty special.
Did he know the words?
You know what? We think it was an act.
Oh.
He had the words on the monitor and he just kind of mumbled along. Swing and miss. And Ozzie was in full Ozzie mode. He had the tattoos, he had the bangle bracelets, he had the sunglasses, he had the braids. I mean, he was rough. But at the end, he shook hands and said, "Thank you, mates. I had a lovely time." In his clipped British accent. Quite the dichotomy, a new word we've learned this week on the road trip. 2 balls, 2 strikes, just missed. Full count. Umpires in the crowd thought that 97-mile-an-hour heater was good enough.
Had a couple infielders headed to the dugout too. Nope.
The Grim Reaper strikes again. 13 straight scoreless innings for the Cubs right-handed reliever, and indeed it is time for the 7th inning stretch. 4-3 Chicago. Wish he was here. As we head to the bottom of the 7th inning for the Cubs, Addison Russell will lead off. And he takes a strike. Now to batten down the hatches, Shelby. Can't give him any more. Down 4-3 with the 9-1 and 2 hitters up for the Cubs. Line drive headed for the corner. That's a fair ball. That's going to bounce high off the concrete fence up into the ivy. And Addison Russell will stop at second, a leadoff double. 3 doubles for the Cubs since the start of the 6th inning.
Montero's was down. This was a hanger in. And he just picked on a mistake.
Fowler will try to get Russell to third at the very least. He's had trouble making contact. 2 strikeouts and a walk. Out play to the left, steal right one.
Detweiler, you saw him in the bullpen. Now he's joined by Peter Moylan.
Cubs are jumping all over Shelby early in the count. 4 hits for the Cubs. Last 2 innings, all have been on the first or second pitch. Popped up. Fowler tried to bunt. Siriaco makes the play. And there's out number 1. Time to remind you of our Toyota Tweet of the Week. Question is, what's your favorite feature at a Major League Stadium? Tweet your response with the hashtag #FaveFeature. That's fave without an E, I think. Yep. And your tweet could appear on a Braves live episode after the game. So Shelby Miller is out after 6 innings and a third worth of work. The Braves bullpen is in play. Ross Detweiler pitched well here last night. Need a good performance from him to keep the Cubs from extending their lead, which stands now at 4-3. One of the great features of Wrigley Field is not just what happens inside the ballpark, but beyond the gates and fences of the friendly confines at Wrigley Field. And Jen Hildreth got to go to the rooftops.
Outstanding.
She's got her pass. Of course, she's in the Hall of Fame suite. Of course, please. That's what the inside of one of those buildings looks like. Of course,
curb service,
Wrigley dog, big smile, a lot of stairs. Come on, Jen, you're the stairmaster. But then you're greeted with that glorious view down the right field line and lunch on the run.
And what a beautiful day for it.
She's the luckiest person in the ballpark. Huh? How about that, Jen? Nice job.
Yeah, hey, Chip, I appreciate your help and the connection. Wrigleyville rooftops were great to help us out, let us get up there and get a feel for what it is like to take in a game at Wrigley. What a unique experience to be on a rooftop and really pretty much just feel like you're in a suite at another ballpark. That's kind of what I would liken it to. Tickets for that run about $130 on average. You get all you can eat, all you can drink. Although I will say, I told them, hey, go ahead, let's hook me up with a hot dog and a beer. They gave me a Coke. I guess they were looking out for me, knowing I was working and everything. But it certainly is one of the more unique features here, as was that 7th inning stretch a few moments ago, Chip. Glad we got to experience that here as well.
That was fun. That was fun. This is a great place. It's a magical place. It truly is. And the only thing that's been missing here is winning. And Joe Madden and his crew, like Lou Piniella, who preceded him, a couple of managers in between. If you win here, you're a hero here forever. And they're on their way to a terrific season in Chicago.
Good hustle, Jen. Way to go.
So near sellout crowd at the ballpark. Rooftops full on this glorious day, and Ross Detweiler in for game number 17 for the Braves. Will try to retire Schwarber.
Got to hold him right there. Good inning last night in the 7th inning. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout.
Key play in the game came in Schwarber's last at bat. Bases loaded, he hit with a double play. And that preserved what was then a 1-run Braves lead. The Cubs are back on top. And that's bounced foul to the right side. It's 0-2.
As we showed you earlier, if there's a ball that bounces into the dugout, there's no place to hide. Just grab somebody and put them in front of you. Hope it hits them instead of you.
That's off the plate. 1 ball. 2 strikes. Foul straight back. See the number on the uniform sleeve worn by all the Cubs. Number 14. Also in chalk or paint right behind home plate. Cubs lost one of the all-time greats, Ernie Banks. So they remember him that way this year. 1 ball, 2 strikes. play. Mr. Cub passed away January 23rd. 1977, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Played 19 years at Wrigley Field. His pro career began in 1950 as a 19-year-old with the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues. And got to the Cubs in 1953.
Two-time MVP, right?
Yep. Back-to-back, 58, 59, 14-time All-Star. As that one's off the pitcher's glove, out to short. Simmons snares it, got his man. That helped. Detweiler deflected it. Schwarber out 1-6-3. No advance at second base. 2 out.
A couple of pitches ago, there was a foul ball chip that glanced off the upper deck, came down, and a young man with a glove ready. He never gave up on it.
A fan from Winnetka made that play.
Brought his glove.
That's great. And Detweiler got his man. Now Freddie Gonzalez will play matchup. Peter Moylan is on. 2 outs. Runner at second for the Cubs.
Let's do this. And the Georgia Lottery.
Shelby Miller's winless streak extends to 17 games. The Braves are hoping he won't go to 0-9 in that stretch. An unearned run, the difference in the ball game today, as Peter Moylan will try to keep it a 1-run deficit in the 7th.
Fourth appearance for Peter. He was in 2 games at San Diego. Gave up a run in one of those contests. It was a home run. No walks or strikeouts thus far. Needs an out here.
Starlin Castro digs in for Chris Coghlan. Castro, of course, has been a star shortstop for the Cubs. Big contract. He's been benched. Coming defensively for the Cubs and plays second base, we presume. As Moylan delivers 1-0. It's high and away. Made the point last night. There are scouts who can't believe how rapidly this guy's skill set has declined in Chicago. Can't figure out why that is. He's only 25 and signed for 2019. Strike. 3-time All-Star, 846 in his first 5 big league years, second most in the history of the Cubs in the modern era.
800 and what?
846. Glenn Beckert had 849. Ron Santo's roommate.
Games?
Hits.
Sorry.
Yeah, 849 hits in 5 years.
5 years, that'd be a lot of games.
Ground ball to short. Hamilton's got it. It's off his chest. Can't get the handle. Throw back to third. Almost threw it away. Don't know what that ball hit, but Simmons booted it. And all hands are safe for Chicago.
First error in 47 games. And it did come up on him. I'm glad he didn't throw it away, compounding the mistake. Absolutely, it came up.
So Moylan got the ground ball, but the rare Simmons error keeps the inning alive for the Cubs. Rizzo versus McCarrahan. We'll see how that works out in a moment. Cubs, it's Andrew McCarrahan now.
I said they needed an out from Moylan. They really need one now.
First error for Simmons since July 15th. Here's Rizzo. Look at his splits. He kills lefties. If you pitch him outside, he can flick his wrists and hit it that way. If you come inside, as we saw last night, he can turn on that ball and become too far inside. He's willing to take the hit by pitch. Tough out.
Yeah, 331 average against lefties. That's pretty impressive.
That's high, ball 2. McCarrahan learning on the job. June 15th for Anderson, not July 15th for that error. Thank you, Joe. Astros the man that bounced it. Down to the shortstop, and that's off the plate, 3-0. Bryant waits on deck.
He'll be swinging. So don't give in. Make a good pitch.
He did. That's a jackknife move that Rizzo does that influences the umpire. So
yeah, that's one that bugs me and bugs the Braves too. That he's so close to the plate that he does that move and it's a strike.
Scores. Castro on his way to third. Rizzo does it again against the lefty, and he extends the Cubs lead. It's 5-3. Oldest saying in the books: you give good teams extra outs, they make you pay, and that's what the Braves have done in the 7th. The inning ought to be over. Unfortunately, it's not.
He was draped over the plate and certainly one down the middle. He's going to turn on that one. Freeman holding the runner on. He had some room over there. RBI number 74.
And that's the end of the line for Shelby Miller. 5 runs, 4 earned. That's rolled to third. Fair ball. Siriaco loads up, throws to second in time. And that will retire the side. The Cubs get an insurance run. 2 hits, a very costly error. Ryan thought that was a foul ball, but he's out. So is Chicago. We're off to the 8th. With Friday night fireworks, and kids run the bases every Sunday. The weekend's a perfect time to catch a game. Visit Braves.com/tickets today and plan your visit to Turner Field. 4 unanswered runs by the Cubs. That's erased a 3-1 Atlanta lead.
The Cubs are trying to get the umpires to look at this last one. Well, I see maybe what they're talking about. I wonder if that hit his foot. Yeah, it did. It sure did. Hit his foot. That's why he didn't run. And why he came out of the game last night.
A.J. Brzezinski was umpiring along with Adrian Johnson. Atlanta got the call. So changes for Chicago as we head to the 8th inning. Pedro Strop is on for the 59th time.
He's been their setup man all year, and he's done a nice job, even though his record is pretty crummy. He's had a few bumps in the road. Castro stays in the game in second.
Hat trick for Jace Peterson at the plate. He starts the Atlanta 8th. Siriaco to follow. And that's scorched foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. To second. Castro's got it. Come out. Cubs bullpen's in lockdown mode. 7 up, 7 down. And here's Pedro. He's 2 for 3. He scored a run. He's stolen a base. This game looks so promising for Atlanta after 4 innings. Miller was leading 3-1. Was rolling along. Gave up a run in the 5th inning. 2 in the 6th. Fly ball to right. Soler has it. Siriaco's retired. 2 down. Braves are catching the Cubs at a real rough time. They are rolling. They've won 16 of their last 20 games. As we mentioned, they are trying to chase down first the Pirates, but secondly the Cardinals in the Central. They play those teams a lot in the final weeks of the season. They've got 7 games head-to-head with Pittsburgh, including the final 3 of that series matchup here in Chicago, September 25th, 26th, and 27th. Not sure if Anderson saw that pitch. It was over his head. 1 ball, no strikes.
He's got a funny arm action. Looks like he's about to take it back behind him, but he really doesn't. Comes up from behind his hip, kind of like a catcher.
Ryan at third, gave ground, made a nice pick. And a long throw across. Rizzo helped him out, went to foul ground to grab it. And it's a perfect inning for Pedro Strop, and the Cubs still lead by 2. Bringing the lumber feature.
It all broke loose in the 6th inning. A couple of doubles in the inning. That one by Montero into the right. Excuse me, right center field, Ivy.
So his day, nothing to sneeze at.
No,
right? 2 hits for the Cubs catcher as they lead 5-3. Two more with Chicago. We're back at it same time tomorrow. Williams Perez and Dan Herron. Earlier start on Sunday. Whistler versus Hamill. And then we're home Monday for the Colorado Rockies at Turner Field. We hope you'll make your plans to join us.
Julio Teheran scheduled to make that start against an opponent, or opposing pitcher we have not heard from yet. Might be the debut of Hector Olivera.
We had a couple of hits for Gwinnett yesterday. Very excited about that. Bouncing ball. Chase has time with the catcher running and got his man by a stride. 1 down. Zombies, walkers, and the undead are invited to Zombie Night at Turner Field. It's Friday, September 18th when the Phillies are in town. That's perfect. Tom McCarthy and Larry Anderson fit right in, don't they? That ticket package includes a zombie survival kit, access to zombie makeup artists, and a pregame zombie walk around the field. For details, visit Braves.com/zombie. Can't wait for that. One out in the Cubs' 8th. 5-3 Chicago. September 10th against the Mets. 20,000 fans through the gates first. We'll get the bobblehead featuring the Braves right-hander Julio Teheran, brought to you by Grady Hospital. Get your tickets today. Go to Braves.com/tickets. David Ardsma is the 5th pitcher of the day for the Braves. Soler, Strop, and Russell are the scheduled hitters. Looks like David Ross, though, has grabbed the bat and will hit next.
He's their last position player by my count.
Perfect time to get his pitcher out of the ball game. And the Cubs bats took over in the 6th inning. The insurance run in the 7th has him up 5-3. Chicago going for win number 69 on the year. And then we'll wait the outcome of the Giants and Pirates, who play later tonight in Pittsburgh. Bumgarner and Locke. Ron Bird expected to debut for the Giants. Chase Utley expected to debut today for the Dodgers. Los Angeles visits the Astros. Playoffs were to start today. The playoff teams in the American League: Yankees, Royals, Astros, Blue Jays, and Angels. That's some diversity for you. 3 balls, 2 strikes for the Cubs right fielder. He struck him out. Bases empty, 2 outs. Playoff teams for the National League have started today: Mets, Cardinals, Dodgers, Pirates, and Cubs.
I'm really impressed with the Astros hanging in there like they have. I thought they might, kind of be a young flash in the pan because of their inexperience, but they've done a good job of keeping it together.
They've been dominant at home. 21 over 500 at home, 11 under 500 on the road, and they've really feasted in interleague play. They've won 11 of 14 games against the National League. So like the Cubs, the Astros endured 3-4 years of absolute misery. They had 3 straight 100-loss seasons after never having one of them in the history of their franchise. They have drafted and developed and traded exceptionally well. And here they are. For David, 1-2. In the 9th inning, the Braves will have Michael BOURN, the bench, and then Nick Markakis. And that's up the middle, a base hit. On a 1-2 pitch, David Ross singles. A little more gray in that beard for David Ross, but what a luxury for the Cubs. They can carry essentially 3 catchers: Montero, Ross, and Schwarber, who's playing the outfield now. And here's Russell.
Especially when you need David Ross to pitch.
He's got a 0 ERA, right?
Quite a utility guy.
Pretty special in your career when you can say you've played in Boston and you've played in Chicago. David can do that. Mentioned his pitching prowess. He actually hit a home run in that one of those games where he was the acting pitcher. What's amazing for David Ross, and the coincidence of that is, his first major league home run came against Mark Grace, who was pitching for the Diamondbacks. David was a Dodger back then. 0-2. Fly ball and playable for MAYBIN. He says he's got it. The wind's got a hold of it, but no damage done. And that sends us to inning number 9. The Braves need 2 to tie and 3 to take the lead in Game 2 at Wrigley.
And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.
Braves fans, part of this year's celebration of 50 years in Atlanta, we want you to help select the most memorable moment in Atlanta Braves history. Go to Braves.com/A50 today and vote on the current matchup: Henry Aaron's 3,000th hit or Jason Hayward's first at-bat homer against the Chicago Cubs. Go to Braves.com/A50 to relive your favorite Atlanta Braves moments.
Hector Rondon is on to finish it up for the Cubs. 21 saves, leads their club in that category. Strikeout per inning pitch, good control. Just a 2.06 average against him.
He's got an 0.50 ERA in his last 36 games, I believe I saw on the scoreboard. 0.50. Bingo. Oh my. Michael BOURN is the first man to face him. Bloop and a blast ties it up.
Need a base runner.
Two balls, one strike.
That is correct, Chip. Since May 25th, 2 earned runs in his last 35 2/3.
In case the Cubs had any kind of injury problem with the back end of their bullpen, remember they signed Rafael Soriano. He had some shoulder discomfort. He's trying to work his way through. 2-2 pitch comes home and BOURN didn't get it. Strike 3. There's out number 1. Let's revisit the AT&T Uverse trivia question. Featured Dexter Fowler, the Atlanta native. Dexter's had a good series and a good game today. Named the last Cub with a 20-homer, 20 stolen base season.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sammy.
Sammy, I'll go Corey Patterson, the Atlanta connection. Let's see if we're right.
Way to go.
Corey Patterson, 2004.
That's 2 out of our last 3.
We're going to be getting a Heine Minuchin or something like that tomorrow if we brag too much. Was it Chuck Prim yesterday?
Yeah. No, wasn't even. It was Prim.
Ray Prim.
Ray Prim.
Yeah. I'm so mad I forgot the guy's first name.
Yeah, but.
That's a shot by Swisher. That's going to get down. Schwarber will play that off the ivy. And there's a base hit. That gives the Braves some 9th inning hope. Tying run to the plate. Pitch hit double for Nick Swisher.
Fastball down and away. That was a really good swing by Nick, who's been trying to go out around some pitches and pull them. Trying to launch. Took that pitch where it was delivered. Tying run to the plate.
Wasn't a bloop. It was a line drive. Now if the Braves can take the lead, Lourdes Vizcaíno is up and throwing down the right field line. Wind blowing out. Tight game. These are the toughest saves of all here in Chicago. Approach 6 o'clock local time. And it's low. Ball 1. Ground ball to second. That'll get the runner to third, but Markakis is the sack it out. Braves are 1 for 17 with runners in scoring position in the series. And now MAYBIN the final hope. Big crowd of 39,000 rises as one.
Early in the count, Cameron just wants to look for something middle in his pitch. Kind of like that one he turned on in San Diego that got out in a heartbeat. And hope that it's something down in the zone.
A hit batsman would be taken. I'd love to get Freddie Freeman to the plate.
That wasn't fair. Came back with a breaking ball.
One ball, one strike. From another one. Would he dare triple up?
He might, because with MAYBIN behind in the count, Cameron's got to be looking fastball still. Guard against the breaking ball. If he throws it a third time, it should be off the plate. They're going to it.
Montero might be the defensive MVP of this game.
Yeah. Did a great job. Watch how he leans out over this. His chest is not quite parallel to the ground, but angled so that when he hits his chest protector, it drops straight down.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed.
That was a unison 39,000 plus at 98.
Johnson got it right. Now it's a full count. And that one is outside. Ball 4. Montero has saved maybe 11 wild pitches in this game. That was number 11. It's a base on balls, and now Joe Madden heads to the water cooler knowing he's got to get Freddie Freeman out. With one mighty swing, Freeman could turn the game into the Braves' favor.
Freddie came up with some guys on base in the 4th inning after the Braves already had 2 across. They had runners at 1st and 3rd, and Hendricks was able to strike him out and get him on a pitch down and away. It looked like an off-speed. I beg your pardon, it was a fastball, I believe, down and away, that they made a good pitch location-wise to get him. Espasio out to talk to his pitcher, has his head pointed straight down.
It's Rondon's game. Nobody up in the Chicago pen. Braves pen is busy. Double barrel action down there.
Low numbers against both sides, but a little better for left-handers.
Swisher at 3rd. MAYBIN at 1st. That's low, ball 1.
Slowed everything down on that off-speed pitch. Freddie could have picked up on that.
BOURN struck out. Swisher doubled. Markakis grounded out. MAYBIN walked. And now Freeman, a bouncing ball, but it's into the shift. Castro from the outfield grass makes the peg, and the Cubs have beaten the Braves again. 5-3 is the final score.